You're tapped into the Love Offering, your inspiration station, Worship 94.5 FM. The moment is here. It's finally here. I've been teasing the fact that my man Joe was going to be checking in with me for the takeover right here on the Love Offering. Gonna be in the city on February 8th for the R&B Invitation Tour along with Eric Benet and Music Soul Child. And yeah, I'm ready for this one. First and foremost, Joe, how are you tonight?
Hey, man, can't complain. I'm blessed, safe and sound out here in California, so everything is okay for me. But heart goes out to a lot of people that lost a lot out here.
Man, I'm so glad to hear that you're doing well. I know it's a lot going on right now, but you're getting ready to hit the road for the R&B Invitation Tour. And as many times as I've seen you on the road, because I've been to quite a few shows where you were on the ticket, I think this is my first time actually getting to see you headline, man. So how do we even get to this point?
Oh, man, it's crazy. I had to kind of go through, what do they call it? Like when you're just starting out, you're new on the scene. And I wasn't new on the scene, but I was still sort of earning my stripes and paying my dues in order to get to this level. And I'm more than grateful to have the opportunity. It took a while, but I'm very excited to join my brothers Eric Benet and Music Soul Child on this tour. So I mean, hey man, we start from humble beginnings, and then God just blesses us to get to a different level. It's all about Him.
Oh yeah. So how do we know that Eric Benet and Music Soul Child was definitely the right pairing for you to take on the road?
Well, the music. I mean, it's all connected. Our stories that we write about and that we sing about, I think, is all connected in a way. They write about love and romance and relationships and things like that from a male perspective. So I thought it was just a very easy combination to just bring my brothers along. And they was very excited about it. And I mean, it's going to be a level of competition. Don't get me wrong. Because anytime, I don't care who it is. It could be Stevie Wonder, Charlie Wilson, even though those guys are very difficult to touch because they're just some of the greatest vocalists we've ever had. But you still have that mentality, like, I'm going to go out and kill this thing. I'm going to crush them. But in a respectful way, So it's going to be fun just to, just have that work being put down, because I know they're going to come with it as well. So I'm excited.
We loving it. Now, if I recall correctly, or if I got my count correctly, you got about like 13 albums out, right?
That's it, yeah.
Man, you have so many, and the hits like really go on and on. So we're gonna mention a few of those in just a second, but I must shout out your album, Ain't Nothing Like Me. I think that's probably my favorite album that you dropped.
Oh,
or at least the one that I felt the most connected to when you dropped it. Whatever was going on with me at that time, it was like every song on there was speaking on my behalf. So yeah, I want to shout out that. Now, as an artist, get to watch as you go across the country the songs that everyone reacts to. But I think there's two of your songs that are kind of like what I consider elite. So I'm going to ask you from the artist perspective, which song do you feel goes the hardest? Love Scene or I Want to Know?
Ooh. Wow, that's a good question. I mean, I'm going to put I Want to Know on the top of the list because every country I go to, that is the favorite song right there. Between the two, Love Scene is one of those quiet hits where it wasn't as big as I Want to Know globally and worldwide, but man, it's just something special about Love Scene. Anytime it's performed, and as soon as they hear it, they identify with it. I mean, they all got it's a special thing, but and there was not a lot of work put behind Love Scene as work put behind I Want to Know. I mean, I had a label and everybody was just pushing that record, even from the urban side all the way to the pop side. So I Want to Know got more attention, I would say, in terms of label wise.
Well, I believe my lovers will agree with me that both of those songs are elite, unmatched. All right, check this out, guys. We have more time with my man, Joe. Keep it locked right here, your inspiration station. Worship 94.5 FM. You're tapped into the Love Offering, your inspiration station, Worship 94.5 FM. Your man RoJay hanging out with my man Joe tonight for the takeover. Just visiting some of my favorites from his catalog. That one right there was We Need to Roll. One of my absolute favorite songs, Joe. I know there's a story behind it. So give me a little background on that one.
Man, just staying in the R&B zone. So many ideas come to me. Like, I was always inspired by R. Kelly, and I know people would hate for me to mention that name, but I mean, if I'm gonna be honest and truthful to myself, I have to give him a lot of credit because he inspired me early on in the game with his simplistic style of songwriting and that level. He's still one of the greatest R&B artists that has ever graced this genre of music. So for me, just trying to keep things as simple and feeling wise that just makes it magic. I mean, it's a love song, and I wasn't trying to go too far with it. Just keeping it simple and clean, and just try to touch people through the performance of it. I mean, it's not too much you can say about a record like that because if you're in a relationship, it works for whoever you're in a relationship with. So it wasn't about me specifically writing for a particular reason. It's just that, okay, I felt it would be a great subject matter to write about it and just keeping it very, very simple. Like I said, R. Kelly inspired me to keep it simple. And that's exactly what I was trying to do on that record.
Sometimes simple is best, and I know you do a lot of great collaborations, and one of my favorite collaborations you did is the Thank God I Found You remix with Mariah. And the crazy thing is, every time I see this discussion on social media when it comes to like the best remixes or just remixes in general and how no one really remakes the song with the remix, this one is always the song that I bring up because it's absolutely one of my favorites. It was so magical.
Wow. Yeah.
That was so magical.
That was a good moment.
Yeah, when you get to link up with artists, veterans, legends, newcomers, what is something special you look for in the artists you're collaborating with?
I mean, I want to be inspired by them. I think that's number one. Like, anytime they, release music, I want to be a fan. And the way I connected with Mariah, it came from the other direction. I had no idea she was a fan of mine. And that's the way we connected and got together to work. She reached out to me because I think I had an opportunity to say, hey, I want Mariah to be on this record. Let me hit her up. But, she was, one of the biggest artists in the game. And for her to reach out to me was just, oh, man, mind blowing. But it's really, for me, choosing someone to work with. I want to be a fan of them. I want to respect what they do. And not just jump on something because of a check. Sometimes that's okay.
Right.
Depending on how much you get it. But usually it's about, feeling that artist you're working with. Now, you can make some great chemistry, have some great chemistry with on stage.
And to be honest, I don't think that method has failed you yet. My man Joe in the city with Music Soul Child Eric Benet for the R&B Invitation Tour, stopping through Huntsville on February 8th. We have a little more time right here on the Takeover, so I want you guys to keep it locked. More on the way right here, Inspiration Station. Worship 94.5 FM. My man Joe with My Love right here, your Inspiration Station, Worship 94.5 FM. One of my absolute favorite songs from your collection, man. I'm telling y'all, this man got hits.
Oh.
Listen, we're chilling with Joe for the Takeover in preparation for the R&B Invitation Tour taking place on February 8th right here in Huntsville. And Joe, we got to talk about that song right there. Again, another favorite from my favorite album, Ain't Nothing Like Me. So tell me a little bit about My Love. How did you come up with that record?
Actually, a good friend of mine, it's a funny story, John T. Austin. You probably heard the name because he's written a bunch of
legend.
incredible records. Back in the day, Kenny Ortiz, who was the record exec, brought him to my crib to work on his music. And lo and behold, years later, now he's working with me on my record. And we were in the studio with Brian Michael Cox and just kind of having a conversation. Generally, Brian is working on the track. John T. Austin is on the phone the entire time, and we're just talking about random stuff. And 20 minutes after, just throughout this conversation, he gets up and says, all right, cool, I'm ready. And he goes into the vocal booth. And he records the song from top to bottom, already written on his phone. He was writing on his phone as we were having a conversation. Okay. And it just blew my mind, like, for him to be so locked in. You don't hear him sing one melody until he gets into the booth. And so then we just started, man, just going from record to record. I think we wrote about 3 or 4 different songs during that meeting. But man, I got to give him the credit because he created something just so magical and so simple and beautiful.
Magical, and you put your touch on it. Now, I will say that there's one song in particular that I find myself playing at any given moment because it's something special about it. So I know there's a story behind If I Was Your Man.
Oh, wow. If I Was Your Man, actually, I didn't write that record. That was something given to me by my guys from Norway.
Okay.
And these international producers, man, these white kids, they got they finger on the pulse, and they are just phenomenal when it comes to certain styles of urban music. And they tapped right into what a tempo record that I really needed and wanted. Because I love doing ballads, but it's very difficult for an R&B singer to have a dope tempo record that connects to people, because it does, because you're supposed to take it simple and take it easy and not try to do too much,
right?
Because then it becomes corny. And we just wanted to write a great. It's almost like when Neo wrote the song for Mario.
Let Me Love You.
Let Me Love You, exactly. And he kept it right in a R&B kind of zone, melodic, simple, beautiful, a nice little simple track, and everything just worked. And those are the kind of songs I love doing tempo-wise, because you're not trying to just groove out on a person. You're just trying to create a nice, subtle groove and vibe that no matter where you are, no matter where you hear it, it's perfect. You can dance to it if you don't have to. You can just chill. You can have sex to it. There's a lot of different things you can, get from R&B records that have a tempo. Even my man, I love R&B artists. I love R&B artists because I think it's very difficult to do that, because you got to create magic vocally just as much as the music. I mean, it's not just saying words like rappers. They get credit as well, but still, there's a vocal melody that is so important, and performance. And if it's not right, people they won't feel it the way you want them to.
Oh yeah, well the chemistry and the magic is definitely there. Once again, my man Joe coming to the Von Braun Center with Eric Benet and Music Soul Child for the R&B Invitation Tour on February 8th. I have your chance to be a winner right now, so if you want to make that happen, text the word invitation to 256-837-1600. Listen, so much more on the way. Keep it locked right here, your inspiration station, Worship 94.5 FM. My man Joe with I Want to Know, your inspiration station, Worship 94.5 FM. Definitely a legendary song. Definitely a legend. And he's on the phone right now. I got a little more time with him for the takeover right here on the Love Offering, getting ready for the concert, the R&B Invitation Tour, right here in the city at the VBC, February 8th. Now, we always talk about our underrated artists or our artists that we feel are slept on. I feel like you get a lot of love, but still there's a level to that. We know how the world views most of our veterans as far as where they place them in a sense. But as an artist yourself, and as just you going through this journey, has there ever been any moments of self-doubt where you may have slept on yourself?
I would say probably a little bit, not too much, because I always try to stay humble and not expect things to be a certain way. And I always waited on the opportunity in terms of, if God wants me to have it, he'll give it to me. Like even with this tour headlining, I had to be patient and just wait for the right opportunity. I've heard it throughout my entire career, so underrated, this, that, and a lot. But I look at a lot of people that are very underrated. Donnell Jones, one of his best albums, I think one of the best R&B albums I've heard in the past 15, 20 years. So, I mean, there's a lot of people that get slept on. But yeah, I certainly hear that quite a bit. But I don't let that affect me in a way. If I do, I use it as positivity and as motivation to just keep striving and keep going and keep pushing. And I got a lot of fans that support me and tell me that how great I am. So I don't get too bothered about things like that, man. Because I think opportunity, the time will come where things will switch up. I always used to say to people, I ain't had my Usher moment yet.
Right.
I haven't had that Usher album where it just, that Confessions where it just broke through. It just became one of the greatest albums in R&B history. So that's yet to come.
That's yet to come. Well, if you haven't heard it enough, let me add my name on that one more again. Definitely
I
about
appreciate
your business, man. And I want to thank my mom, Miss Deborah. She's a big fan, and she's the reason I heard my first Joe record. And
Oh, that's
to this
wonderful.
day, like, she plays you every day. Every time there's a Joe concert, I'm taking her to this concert because she has to see her Joe. So I want to
Miss
shout
Debbie,
out my mama for
thank
that.
you. Thank you, Mom, for that. I appreciate the love. And
Oh,
next
yes,
time,
definitely.
please come back. Let me say hi to her, man.
Okay, we definitely got to make that happen because we will be at this show for sure. Now, before I let you go, I do want to know, what can we as music fans, as Joe fans, expect outside of this tour? Like, what's to come?
Outside the tour, man, I got this record I'm getting ready to release. It's pretty special. I've been working on it for about 4 or 5 years, and it was important that I took my time and got it right the way I feel it should be. And not trying to rush to have something out there in the market just to keep touring and things like that. I've been very fortunate to be able to tour without having an album out. But man, I really wanted to make whatever new music I put out to be even more special than anything I've ever released. So look out for a new record coming. Even during this tour, we're going to be dropping some stuff.
Well, we'll be on the lookout for that, Joe. I do appreciate you touching base with me tonight. Tap it in with the love offering for the takeover. We will be checking you out live in the city with Eric Benet and Music Soul Child, February 8th at the VBC. I want you guys to keep listening out for your chance to be a winner so that you can make sure that you're in the building. But if you can't wait, Ticketmaster.com. Additional details on worship945.com. Once again, Joe, I appreciate you. Keep making that soul music that we love so much. And don't forget, we're out here. We're listening. Okay? We're listening, and we got our ears to the street, man.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for this, man. See you soon.
No doubt. Keep it locked right here, lovers. I got more on the way. Your inspiration station. Worship 94.5 FM.